Hello, I'm Holly and welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know, I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and this channel is about explaining my treatment and progress and just journaling my experience. So welcome. I just got my approval from my insurance company for my first CT scan since I started treatment, and I'm a little bit scared, and I have a lot of reason to believe that it'll be good news, but we don't really know if it's good news until we get the scan. So I gotta get it scheduled. I just got the approval and now I gotta get it scheduled. If it's not good news, I don't know what that means. I've been trying to define what good news means. I would love for the scan to show that all of my metastasis is gone. I know that it's still in my lymph nodes because I can feel it with my fingers. I can feel the swollen lymph nodes. Now, to me, they feel like they're smaller than they were, but I go back and forth as I feel them several times a day, as you can imagine. One minute I feel like they're smaller, the next minute I feel like they're not, and at the very least it's been 4 months and they're still there. I mean, I can still feel them, so at the very least the lymph nodes are still swollen. The primary tumor, same thing. I have no expectation that the primary tumor has disappeared. I can feel it. Again, I go day by day between, oh, it's getting better, no, it's not, yes, it is. I know it's better than it was when I was first diagnosed, but you know, after the first month and I saw the dramatic difference, I really kind of thought by now it would be much smaller than it seems to be. My oncologist told me that was completely unrealistic back then, and she has also said that it is unlikely that the primary tumor will completely disappear ever. And our hope is to get rid of everything else so that we can have it removed surgically. It's possible that it'll disappear, but unlikely. So my hope is that all of the metastasis that I can't see and feel is gone. The metastasis in my bones. If it's not, I at least hope it has shrunk. I hope it's shrunk what would be a typical amount by this point in treatment. And I guess not having grown would be successful, but since that's not what my oncologist has told me to expect, I don't know what it means, if that's where we're at. My oncologist thinks that all of my metastasis will disappear. And if at this point in treatment, it doesn't look like that is the direction we're going, I really don't know what that means for the longevity of the treatment. So for now, I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope for the best. Keep you posted. I'm about to get my CT scan. I feel pretty good about it. I won't have the results until Tuesday. This is Friday. I have a doctor's appointment Tuesday, and I guess I'll get the results then. I'll let you guys know. Bye. Well, I just finished my CT scan. Procedurally, it went well. They said the images were good and clear, so they'll be able to tell what they want to know from them. I feel pretty good about it. I won't have the results back for a couple of days, but I really feel pretty confident that the results are going to be good, that I feel like the cancer has shrunk. I think the real question is going to be, how good is it? Is it as good as I would like for it to be? And if it's not, how far away from where I would like for it to be are we? As I have previously stated, I would like for all the metastasis to be gone. My oncologist says that's unlikely, that all of the bone metastasis will be gone. So, we'll just see. I'm optimistic, and I'll have the results in a few days, and then we'll know, and we'll go from there. So I got the results of my CT scan finally, and needless to say, it wasn't what I was hoping for, which, I was prepared. I kind of knew that I wouldn't be, no evidence of disease at this point. The results were kind of mixed. So they did confirm that my primary tumor is getting smaller, and my lymph nodes are showing no evidence of disease. So that is just fantastic. That is really good. It's consistent with what the surgeon said, and that part is all great. Where we kind of ran into a problem is the radiologist said that my bone metastasis were more prominent on the scan than they were the scan before, which he is interpreting as meaning that they have worsened. He also identified some tiny little spots on my lungs and my liver, which he is also interpreting as metastasis. So that would be an indication that my treatment is not working, Ibrance and fulvestrant, which, would be really disappointing because I was planning to be on that treatment for years. And if it's not working, I'm going to have to change treatment. Now, I do have a backup treatment identified already in my plan. So if my treatment is not working, I will move on to Piqray. And Piqray is a targeted therapy that is designed specifically for people who have the, I think it's called the PIK3 gene mutation, which I have, which a lot of people with breast cancer have. So that would be my next line of treatment. Now, the good news is my oncologist believes that the radiologist is misreading the scans. And the reason for that is it would be really, really rare for the primary tumor in the lymph nodes to be improving and the other metastasis to be getting worse. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't happen. I mean, obviously, just being stage 4 de novo is rare, but she just doesn't think that's happening. Now, what she indicated is these more prominent spots on my bones can be caused by the healing process of the treatment, and that it is not uncommon during the first few months of treatment for your bone metastasis to look more prominent. So what she was looking for was whether or not there were any new bone metastasis, which the radiologist did not indicate that there were any new metastasis. So if we're only talking about the old metastasis and they're just showing up darker or more prominent on the scan, she thinks that's perfectly normal and it's just part of the healing process. As far as the little spots on my lungs and my liver, it is her opinion that it is likely that that is not cancer, and that, you know, the radiologist knew going into the reading that I had already been diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, and it is really common for breast cancer to metastasize to the liver and the lungs. And so she feels that when he saw that on the scan, he just kind of jumped to, this is metastasis. And she thinks that it might not be. And the way that we determine what's going on is I'm going to continue with the same treatment I'm on for another 90 days, and then we'll do another scan. And if the bone metastases are better and the primary tumor is still shrinking and the lymph nodes are still no evidence of disease and the spots on my liver and my lungs have not changed, then that means they are not cancer, because the treatment should affect everything that is breast cancer. And if it's affecting everything but that, then that is, we would conclude that that is not breast cancer. And she thinks that's pretty likely because the spots are really small, and, you know, it's not, doesn't seem to be affected by the treatment, which would be just really odd, really unusual. And so I asked her, if the spots are not cancer, do I now have something else that I need to worry about? You know, if it's not breast cancer, what is it? Do I have another kind of cancer? And she said, no, the spots are really, really tiny, and they can be caused by all kinds of things. And some people just develop them, you know, through living. You know, it could have been caused by getting pneumonia as a kid, or aging, or whatever. So she doesn't think they would be anything to worry about as long as it's not breast cancer. So I did post on one of my metastatic breast cancer kind of Facebook groups about the more prominent bone metastasis on my CT scan, and people did respond to me and said, yeah, that happened to them also. And when they went back for their next scan 3 months later, they were gone, and that it really was just, you know, the healing process. So, you know, I feel pretty confident about it. I feel like that it, you know, does seem odd. I can see with my own eyes that the primary tumor and the lymph nodes are getting better. I mean, I can see it, I can feel it. And I have an explanation for the rest of it, which is satisfying to me. And I mean, all we can really do is wait 90 days and see. But right now, I'm feeling good about things, and I'm just going to keep going, keep doing my exercises, my nutrition plan, and all of the other things that I have, trying to, you know, get on top of this disease. And if we go back in 90 days and find out, you know what, I do have metastasis in my lungs and my liver, and this treatment is not working, we move on to Piqray, and I will keep you informed with how that's going. So stay tuned, and we'll see. Oh, I almost forgot. The other great good news is, if you recall from one of my earlier videos, I told you that when we were going through the process of determining diagnosis, whether or not I had cancer. I had a bone scan that came out clear, so it didn't show any cancer on it. And I do biomarker blood tests every month, which should indicate if you have metastatic cancer, and it has always been clear. It's never shown anything. So my oncologist said that if she is right about my bone metastasis healing, and she is right about the liver and the lungs not being cancer, then what that means when you look at it kind of in relation to the bone scan and the biomarkers is that my bone metastasis is inactive, and that it was inactive before I started treatment. So she said that what that means is either it's not growing at all, or it's growing so slowly that the biomarkers and the bone scan is not picking it up. So that is a real good sign that if she is right about my current state, that I could be on my way to no evidence of disease. And, you know, once you get to no evidence of disease, that doesn't mean you don't have cancer anymore. And it could come back at any time. I've seen people post online that went to no evidence of disease, and then their very next scan, they had metastasis back. But what she is indicating is that although it could change, because cancer changes the way it does, and it can change at any time, but it is a really good indication that I have a really slow growing cancer, or a cancer that had already stopped growing on its own for whatever reason before I started treatment. So if we can, you know, shrink it down and it responds to my treatment and I can get to no evidence of disease, that maybe, fingers crossed, maybe I might stay that way for a while, because I have a slow growing inactive cancer at the moment. So, you know, that sounds great to me, and we'll just have to see on the next scan. Keep your fingers crossed, and I will keep you informed. We're either going to be really happy, or we're going to be moving to Pickray in about 3 months. Stay tuned. Bye.